the challenges ahead so that they can do well, or the things they left unfinished. But life is a marathon, it's a long journey. So it's better that we take it easy, break it down, slow down, but have a roadmap and a vision to know where we are heading. So today, some interesting facts about Git, but the lecture is very biased, it's focused on GitHub, and I have my own reasons why I've picked GitHub, even though there are other platforms back then. So you have to request people, get their time, read a lot of forums, post a lot of questions, just to find a solution to a problem. And some of the problems would be very, very basic. But since World Wide Web was very new, so there no YouTube was there, Google was not there. Microsoft was a software company, but their focus wasn't. You got somebody who is really good at everything. Somebody knows all your problems. If that is your assignment problem, code problem, or any problem you are thinking to solve. So you got somebody who got a lot of knowledge. All you need to do is to talk and reason, right? So today we will talk a lot about GPT, but before we jump there, let's start our lecture. I hope you all got my name. It's on the screen. I did not say my name is Wajid Khan. I hold a PhD in information visualization, and Professor Edmund was my supervisor. So luckily we're here again. Right, so today we'll be covering version control, why it is necessary, and then I will shed some light on coding for impact, then setting up the tools, then we'll jump on to code your first website, and then the main theme of the topic today, Git. So we'll get into Git. We'll see what does push mean, what does pull do, all these things, and then we'll end up with some ChatGPT prompts. So, right, so why version control? So, by the way, Git, if somebody asks you that, what does Git stands for? What's the acronym or the abbreviation? So you can say it means nothing. Git was created by Linus Lord, and he given a name to it. So it means nothing. It's a name. But anyway, it means something now because there is a lot of work in which we're going to cover why it is important. So in short, it's a version control. What is a version control? Version control is that if, it's really easy if you write 500 lines code or 2,000 lines of work code. But if you extend that line of codes to 10,000 or 20,000, and then there are multiple people who are contributing to the code, then things get out of control. So you need something that, okay, I shared my code with XYZ, what changes they have done. So we need a tracking system for it, right? And that's version control does. So it's a system for tracking changes. And it's very similar to MS Word. When you send like a doc copy to somebody and you turn on the revisions, then you can see who deleted what or added what. So as a student, you should always ask that if I'm using a technology, what is the history behind it? So covering version control, the first thing was introduced in 1972. It was back then it was called source code control system. Software coders who will code something and they will throw it to the internet. So it's open source kind of community. And in software coding and software engineering, open source plays a vital role. I mean, if you see Google, when they created Android system, they made that open source, and the output or the result was that a lot of mobile phones adopted operating system in the open source arena is Linux, and Linux became so massive, so they needed a version control system. And then this chap in 2005, Linus Torvalds, he created Git, and he given it a Git name actually. So 2005 was a turning year in the history of Git. But then there were other players like GitHub, They seen the opportunity, and since the code was open source, so they adopted it. And then you will hear about GitLabs, and then there are several. As I said earlier, it's the ultimate platform. Why it is so important? Because once you start using it, you fell in love with it. In the past, when somebody would ask me that how can I become a software engineer, I would tell them that look, if you can spend 10 hours, 10 plus hours every single day on a PC, then maybe you can become one. But if you cannot, and your lifestyle does not allow, maybe the environment you are in, the family you live in, or the activities you do, which takes up a lot of your time, then maybe coding is not for you because you need dedication here and you have to start somewhere. And commit history is really important. So, as I said in the start, life is a marathon. You don't need to like do a sprint. All you have to do is to take step by step. And these baby steps are your daily commit progress. So you write a short code, even it could be 20 lines, 50 lines, or even 10 lines. But all you do, you submit that and you participate in the activity. So the output of this activity will give you visibility. So you can then showcase your work and getting that usability, you can get recognition. So and recognition could be global. Important that if you're working on important projects, it has to be on Git. And reason it has to be on Git is that gives you the collaboration power. Collaboration power allows you to showcase. If somebody asks you that what you were doing last year and or last month, then you can say, oh, here is my commit history. I was working on Python, PHP, HTML, whatever languages. So it's really cool. And cool in a way that GitHub is obviously really reputable. So having a strong profile there gives you really good credibility. So very disciplined. You hardly see any commits, maybe 2 comments on weekends, 1 comment on Saturday, and 2 comments on Sunday. So very workaholic and keeping the trends, the code pattern to work days. And then probably there's a holiday season too. So it tells you a lot about the coder, their ability, and their habits. And you know what does this screen mean? This screen is the public profile of your GitHub page. So people who visit, anybody who you share the link with, and actually you can see the link here. If you go to this link, you will see this is the contribution calendar and it shows your commit history. The more darker, the more commits, the lighter, few commits. Now the next, so by the way, the emphasis was routine. Routine is really important. You don't need to code like 7 days a week. Gaps are really essential, right? And for creativity, you have to create routine and you can create habits, right? So the next one is really important. And for years, I was thinking that, okay, I'm going to code in a way that I will write a message on GitHub, but the message will be driven by the software I write, right? And then I came across this guy, and the GitHub link is down there. So you can see he written something. I don't know what does it mean, but I'm sure there is a message, and you can be very artistic. And look, as a young student, you need to have some really creative ideas, but also that those ideas will have some incredible impact on the other side. So every Git commit is a step toward recognition, shaping your coding excellence and professional narrative. And it's ever so true. I mean, if you go for software jobs, the first thing you're gonna hear is that show me your GitHub. They wanna see your activity. So right, and then we have ChatGPT. So these are the things you will need. Now, uh, today, one of the theme was that how we can use GitHub, ChatGPT, and create a website. So I've been working for long enough to know how the structure needs to be. And I came up with this formula. It's very ingenious to me. Ingenious in a way is I haven't read it elsewhere, but I've learned it through practical. So, and practical in a way that if I take a new project, I will focus on two things. So my personal routine is that I will ignore the body because I know I can easily put a lot of content. So the 40% work I'm going to ignore in the first few sprints to achieve my project, right? So what I would do, I will start from the head. Head is really important because we got brain starting from the top, and then once you're happy with the top usually takes the logo, and it becomes like a visual identity. So you can play a lot there, like the top navigation, phone numbers, any CTAs, or any critical message you wish to promote, like the pages you want your visitor to see. So top is really important, but then there are several aspects in UI is that you have to make it responsive so that it works on all devices. So even though you're working on a computer, your resolution could be different, small, big, but then people need to have the same feel and look on a smaller device or on a bigger device. So it has to be responsive, right? So once you're coding the header, you finish it for desktop, all devices, and also mobile devices. Then you switch to footer. In the footer, you spend a lot of time because it add credibility to your brand. Some people ignore it because they have cut things into length in the body and header. But spending time here, and I think it's a very proportionate distribution. So, for example, you can have newsletter or any promotional in the 30%, like CTAs, when somebody has scrolled through all content on a page of your brand. So, footer can play a key role. So creating a website, 60% of the work could be completed by just completing the two sections. And then you can think about the body content. It's really easy, and all you have to do is to add containers to it. We learned that every website will require three sections: header, body, footer. And this is approximate distribution of the content you wish to put onto the page, right? But then we go on to the next slide and we find three more distributors. Now, many of you would not know that there are, of course, you would know that there are many programming languages, and you would know what HTML is, what CSS is, what JavaScript is. But you would also know that there are other languages like Python, PHP, ASP.NET, and there are many others programming languages or World Wide Web or the website. So, for example, ChatGPT, even though there is algorithm or LLM behind it, but the interface is web browser. So, coming back to web browser, any code we write, it will primarily output in these three stacks: HTML, CSS, Java. So, if I code in Python, if I code a web app in Python, the output which the user would see will fall into these three stacks. So if you want to become a web developer, then it's really good to be friend with the browser because you're writing for the browser. You're writing for the browser technically, but you're writing for your audience. So now we know that from the previous slide, this is the distribution of the things we want to achieve. So I'm going to do a lot of makeup in the header. Then I'm going to focus on the body and then the footer. And then the output which the user or I'm going to see will fall into this. So it's really cool. Now you would ask that, okay, so if my product is going to output in HTML, CSS, JavaScript, then I need to learn it and how you can learn it. So I would say that explore. Explore is really important. And sometimes we have a unique idea. We think this is going to be the best idea. But then when we see elsewhere, somebody else done it better. And when I was becoming a young coder, I always said, look, there is nothing wrong in copying others. If you see something really good and you're thinking in the same direction as they do, you can adopt their work. And by adoption, what I would say, copy others, but try to do the same thing better than them. So that way you are applying your unique context. And for a long time, and even today, I say that, look, everybody's unique, just like everybody else. So if you're thinking of something, somebody else might be thinking within the domain, but you can still apply your context to it. So explore, then create, and practicing is really important. And eventually, down the line, it will allow you to become expert in this niche, or say in a class, and the class is not behaving as it should be. So all I need to do is to take the code, send it to ChatGPT, and then argue with it. That, look, this is my expectation. The code is returning this. Can you just rewrite it for me, or give me ideas where should I fix? And then if you're really really lazy because you are really tired and you're in a rush, you can ask ChatGPT, look, this is my class. I want you to fix this issue, but I want you to write full code so I can copy and paste and try it, right? Pushing the code is that you are pushing your code from your local environment to the global environment, right? And pulling is that you're pulling remote repo code into your machine. So that's the difference. It add readme .txt, .md, or .html, and then it will add, and then I have to commit. So for the commit, I have to leave um, a comment or a reason that, or what did I change. So for example, if I change styling feature, then I would say style sheet body element change. So it will leave a little bit ordered for what you have been doing, and then you need to push the code. Get status is to see whether the remote and local repos are in sync. So we have never ever used Git. Um, this is the screen which includes all the commands which you can apply and learn. So as it says, so GitHub, if you got one file, then of course it's git add readme.hindi. You can see it here. If there are multiple files, then you can say get add dot space dot enter, and it will add all. And then you have to basically you can copy paste this into your terminal, and it will work. Do is to interact. Just ask question, see clarity, be curious, be analytical. You don't have to agree with a perspective. Remember, it's a perspective. And there is a saying that an educated mind will always entertain a thought without accepting it. So you can say no to GPT, you can say yes to it, but the key essential part is that you have to talk. And then reasoning is really important. I've seen a trend that sometimes the output is not as you wanted, so you have to train it. You have to give more perspective uh, to to achieve what you want to achieve. But also chatting, reasoning, and then execution. So if you chat and you reason, but you don't execute, it will go nowhere. The sentiment in a way that the person is in a negative mood or the person is in a positive mood, or it remembers it got a memory too. So with the memory, it understands where you're trying to head. And remember, it's one step at once. So all you have to do is to find probably some manners in a way how to utilize ChatGPT. And I would say, please, ChatGPT, can you write this for me? I would say spend 1 hour, find the right profile which matches your profile, and then take ideas and try to talk to ChatGPT so that it can write HTML for you, and that HTML can be deployed. So know that end of 2025, so within the next 12 months, you will be a great developer. So it's good, you can do. But this is the exercise I would expect you all to do. And if you need feedback, you can share your code with me. If you got troubles where you could not achieve what you want to achieve, you can drop me an email. My contact details will be there, and I will happily assist you.
Example, our students are in the first year of computer science cybersecurity course, and it's like 3 years to finish the course. You have gone through a similar thing. And what prompted you to go for when you are a good coder, you are very successful with the undergraduate degree? Why did you go for a master's degree or a PhD degree?
That's a really cool question, Professor. And honestly speaking, when I wanted to get a doctorate, I want to become a teacher because I was always inspired by my teachers. They were really good role models. But also, doctorate was really important, is because I can write and then write in a way that I learned it through an academic process. So, and it's a journey, and a PhD is not the creation you do or the things you create, but it's the passion you chase. So, my passion was always in information, so I can take complex things. And you know this better because you have mentored me. But when I was talking about data, very few people were talking about this subject. For a long time, I was thinking to read data from Twitter feeds because it was open source. Even today, it is open source. And my tools would find the mood of the people on particular days. So let's say Monday, Tuesday, they're happy. Thursday, Friday, they're lesser happy or in the middle. So patterns in different region, and then taking the data and applying visualization to it. But what I would say, Professor, there are two type of people: creators and consumers. So don't be a consumer, be a creator. And teachers are really good creators. So the academic credentials allowed me to reinforce my confidence. And
Thank you very much.
I'm not going to judge you all, but what I can promise you that if for the next 12 months, end of December next year, you will be far, far more better coder. And once you see that value in yourself, your confidence will skyrocket. But make sure you become really positive person, not a big negative person, because end of the day you need to work and live along.
So I have a question now before you leave. So, for example, there are like you work with the universities to supervise scholars. At the same time, they are working with you in the industry, some of scholars. So, what was your experience working with them? Like any suggestions, guidelines that you want to give to our students who want to work and learn at the same time?
Certainly, certainly. So I would say that like there are two things. One is, can I have a job? This is one straightforward question which most of the students ask when they meet somebody who they see that they can employ them. But I would say stop asking this question and throw this question to the bin. You said earlier, we all are unique. We carry some unique context and unique skills which are not available elsewhere. And the Almighty have only gifted that to us. So all we have to do is to believe in our powers and our passion. So my advice to young students would be that trash, throw, bin it. Don't ask this question, can I have a job? Instead, you can, in a way, that you can say, oh, are there any pending projects which you cannot complete? How can I contribute? Can I volunteer for a month? How can I deputy you? What are the things which you are struggling with, which I can do? I have some free time. I'm a good learner. I'm a self starter. So, all these things, people will then take you seriously, right? But then you don't need to wait for other people, right? So if you see that you're not getting success by calling upon or knocking upon opportunities, you create your own opportunities. I mean, if you focus on one problem and that one problem is such a value that somebody like Microsoft adopts it, So, and also I say this to a lot of young entrepreneurs that look, you don't need, if you're thinking of your business, you don't need a lot of clients. You need one or two clients. Even one would be more than enough. So, all you have to do, if you're thinking about your business, then find one client and then try to give them amazing value. So, value that you become vital in their ecosystem, right? And you are already vital. All you have to do is to be visible.
Thank you very much. My last question is like, can you give like your thoughts on how the technology is going to emerge in the next 1 or 2 years? What do you see as something which is catching up,
I
or
think
new things that are evolving in the horizon?
we're in really good times, Professor, and I see good days ahead. And you can be scholar in anything if you pick archaeology, or if you want to become like a data scientist, or architect, or a coder. So what artificial intelligence or the LLM model did is that it allowed the knowledge to flow and flow in such a way that we haven't seen that before. So what I see good future, and I definitely see that there are two category of people: consumers, which are unfortunately in huge number. And long time ago, when I mean, the projects you and I done in Bournemouth, Mono was there, and I still remember that when I met Mono, I said, Mono, if you post swearing videos on YouTube, you will have millions and millions of users and viewers and subscribers, because I know people want to consume content. But all you have to do is to be creative, start your own channel, and say the things you are teaching me. I mean, he was trying to convince me in crypto back then. But the point here was that I said, look, create content. People will follow you, they will listen to you. And now he's a celebrity, I believe. I think he got a lot of subscribers, and he does promotion paid work, still active in crypto, but the power it allowed him, the content creation allowed him to become so and so. So my advice is create, because content is king. Your ideas are really unique. The world need to see, more eyes needs to see it for it to work for you.
Thank you very much. In the interest of time, um, on behalf of all the students here, thank you very much, Wajid, for taking time to come and talk to us. It has been very, very informative. We would like to see you in person, in flesh, next time when you are around. So please do drop in whenever you are in London. And you are
Thank
not.
you, Professor.
Thank you so
A
much.
pleasure. A pleasure. I hope everybody find this session useful, and I hope we will have many more in future.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Take care, guys.